Well, good morning. I'm Kim Bearden back here at the Ron Kirk Academy for the final day of the 2025 Global Amazing Shake. I'll be joined shortly by my co-host, Kurt Brown, our Chief Development and Communications Officer. Right now, he's getting the judges ready for the next round. So if you're just joining us, it has been an amazing 3 days here at the Ron Kirk Academy. We have 414 students here from all around the United States, as far away as Honduras, Canada, other countries, and we are so excited to have these students here competing. They've worked hard in their own local and regional Amazing Shape competitions, and the best of the best were sent here to Atlanta for the competition. On Friday night, we had the practice rounds and several students emerged as ones to watch, but yesterday was full of incredible competition from the very, very beginning of the morning. Students had a gauntlet round where they had to be judged by 19 different judges in a series of fun yet complex questions, problem solving, creativity, showing how they're able to give a firm handshake, look someone in the eye, speak with confidence, and demonstrate that je ne sais quoi, as we like to say, and their ability to be able to have a conversation, whether it be something that's very distracting because there's things going on all around them, but be able to talk about how they would have improved the carnival that they experienced and how they would have come up with a business plan for it. Then the students moved to Work the Room, where they had to engage with different business leaders from all across the Atlanta area and beyond, and they had to work the room as you do in a business scenario. As they were doing so, we had waiters walking around with trays, and you all know it's hard to be able to navigate, how do I eat that finger food, have a conversation, and meet at least 15 people in the room and get scored from them. This morning we have the Breakfast of Champions. Our top 12 were brought in, and now he's naming the top 8. Let's go to the main stage.
Landon Wallace. Emily Bird. And Ryan Clark.
So we are about to enter the Jeopardy round. These are 4 of the top 8 students. They're going to be asked some questions about current events and other things.
We're actually going to play Amazing Shake Jeopardy. But the Amazing Shake Jeopardy is going to be a little different from the typical Jeopardy. We're going to have our board come up, as you will see, and the board will have all different types of categories. You get to choose what you would like to select. For example, when you look at the categories on the board here, you will see current events, the war in Ukraine, tariffs on Canada and Mexico, deep thoughts, character and leadership, and technology in the future. This is different from regular Jeopardy in that there's no buzzing in. You get your own question, and you get to choose what question you want. Each of you will get 3 choices. Do you want to go for a 1,000-point question? Because they are very hard, very hard. It could impress the judges that you go for a 1,000-point question, but they're very difficult to answer. You could stumble. Or do you go with a 200 question? Ugh. It's going to be easy, but you could probably kill it. But in the judge's mind, they went for an easy question. I'm not going to score this one so high because this question wasn't easy. It was a softball. Or do you go in the middle and try to say, maybe I will cut my losses? Where will you go, and which topics will you choose? McLean, you will select first.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I would like to choose current events for 600.
Current events, 600. Your question is, should young people pay more attention to the news? Why or why not?
I think younger people need to pay more attention to the news because it shows what is going around in the world. If you're not aware of what's going around in the world, you can't function, you can't talk to other people, you can't have the knowledge that you're supposed to have. And then when you go up in the world and when you have a job, then you're not going to be used to looking at politics. You're not going to be used to looking at current events. And I think that it's a thing that young people need to practice now or they'll be struggling in the future.
Thank you. All right, Landon.
I will go the war in Ukraine for 600.
The war in Ukraine for 600. If you were a world leader, what would you do to help bring peace to that region? Sorry.
Yeah, so first off, I would try and bring or collaborate with Russia and Ukraine to work as a cohesive society. And then by that, we can just talk with each other instead of doing all these wars. And the main thing that's happening is that the U.S. is trying to help them, but they don't want to give us oil rights or they don't want to give us reciprocity for all the money that we've given them. So if they don't want to give us any help, then I don't believe that we should keep helping them in the war. But I think if I was Donald Trump in my position, I would work with President Putin and Vladimir Zelensky and see if we can distribute peace between the three nations and work as one group.
Okay. Emily?
I'll take Deep Thoughts 1000.
Deep Thoughts 1000. If you could ask one question to every person on earth and hear their honest answer, what would you ask and why?
I would ask, why do you believe the way that you do, specifically in religion? I think that a big part of my life is just being a Christ follower, and I think that a deep connection between me and some of my friends and other people that I'm just very close with is knowing how they respond to religion, and how they love God, and what their beliefs are, how they think, how the world formed, like what they believe about the world. And I believe that knowing someone's true beliefs and knowing their honest heart in that subject really is so important in knowing a person and knowing how they'll respond in situations and knowing how they'll act and maybe even how they'll be with you like friends in the long run, knowing friends that are true friends and not fake friends.
Okay. All right. And Ryan, make your selection.
I would like to pick Deep Thoughts for 800.
Deep Thoughts for 800. When is the right time to speak up, and when is it better to stay silent?
I feel like it's the right time to speak up when you know what you're about to say, when you truly believe in what you're about to speak for. Now, mind you, I know everyone wants to always talk and, make their thoughts heard, but I feel like you actually have to believe in what you're talking about so then your point will come across better. And I also think that it's better to stay silent when you want to hear everyone else's thoughts and you want to see what everyone else has to say. Because, in the Global Amazing Shake, it's not always your time to shine. Other people need to say their thoughts and, speak what they believe in so they're able to be heard as well.
Okay. McLean?
I would like to go for tariffs on Canada and Mexico for 800.
Tariffs on Canada and Mexico, 800.
So they're selecting higher numbers now.
How do you think imposing tariffs on other countries could affect businesses that rely on trade across North America?
I think it could affect businesses by them having to raise their prices, and that means less consumers are going to buy their product. Tariffs are making government taxes on imported goods, and while companies from Canada or Mexico importing their goods into the United States, they have to raise their prices so that they can afford these big tariffs. That not only affects the consumer, but also affects the business that is trying to import these to the consumers as well.
Okay. Landon?
Character and leadership, 800.
Character and leadership, 800. Is it more important for a leader to be respected or liked? Why?
I would say respected, because when you're respected, when you're respected, you're often liked as well. And respected, I think it's more serious tone. And when you're a leader, you want to be respected because you show your deep thoughts and you show your meaning to the people that you're leading. And say, like President Trump, for example, I think that he is very respected because of all that he's done for our country in such a short amount of time. But I feel like our previous presidents have also been respected as well because of the different approaches they take on leading our country. So I would take respect over liked, because respected, I think it means you're more of a doer instead of a talker, and it means that you really mean the words that you're doing and you know that you're going to back them up.
Okay. Emily Bird?
I'll take character and leadership 1000, please.
Character and leadership, 1000. Wow. What's a character flaw you've worked on, and how has it made you stronger?
So, a character flaw. I have a problem, and it's that I talk a lot. If you know me, you know. So I love to talk, I love to express my feelings and my ideas, but one of my most annoying traits about me is sometimes I do talk too much. And I've tried to work on that by thinking maybe how does this make other people feel? Perspective is everything in all situations, and I think that being able to have an open mindset and really placing the same amount of value, if not more, on what other people have to say than what I have to say, especially if it's just rambling like I am right now, then I think that in the long run, other people's thoughts and ideas will be heard, and maybe I can contribute more to the conversation by just being silent and letting other people tell me what they think.
Okay.
I think they're warming up now as they get more comfortable. And
I would like to pick character and leadership for 600.
How do you define leadership?
I define leadership as a person who only does not take the role and say, oh, I'm the leader, you listen to me. I take leadership as you carrying people on your back and you carrying them to victory. Now, I know people who are, following the leader, you're supposed to learn from the leader, and you're also supposed to take notes from the leader. The leader shouldn't be brushing you away. They should have assistants to help them as well. Because I know as a leader myself, I feel like I cannot do what I'm doing right now without people helping me out. So I feel like a leader is someone who's able to listen to other people's thoughts, who's able to carry a big group on their back and handle it well so they can go to victory.
All right, now we're ready for one more question from each of the contestants.
With a bang, doing war in Ukraine for 1,000.
War in Ukraine for 1,000. In times of war, is it more important to stand up for your country or to stand up for peace? Why?
I think it's more important to stand up for peace. In the war in Ukraine and Russia, Vladimir Zelensky is strong on his beliefs, which is a good thing, but also can get in the way of peace. Though there have been many peace deals in Ukraine or trying to get peace deals, but they have not been effective because of the strongholds of both Russia and Ukraine's leadership. If there can be some negotiations, which is why they're here to end war, and if there actually are those negotiations, then I think they can reach peace. That's why I think it's more important for peace than for strongholds. Thank you.
I'll do tariffs on Canada and Mexico for 1,000.
Okay. In your opinion, what is the smartest way to protect American businesses without creating bigger problems for the economy?
Yeah, so like these tariffs are doing, the main reason that we're implementing these tariffs is because the U.S. is such an importing country. So these tariffs are trying to produce in-house goods where we make stuff in the U.S. instead of buying it from China and all these other countries. So that is the main reason, trying to bring the economy back to an import or making in-house goods. And the smartest way to protect them, I would say, is to just not import goods. And when we're producing in-house goods, it basically just eliminates all the extra tax that's going to be placed on our goods that we're buying. And then without creating I don't think that would eliminate the problem of all these taxes, because that's what's really driving inflation. And with these, like McLean said, the goods are going up in prices because of these tariffs. But if we're just producing stuff in the United States, then those tariffs are eliminated and people can just buy it directly from our country.
Okay.
Technology in the future 1,000.
Okay. Technology in the future 1,000. In the year 2050, what do you think will be the biggest challenge facing humanity, and how would you solve it?
I think the biggest challenge facing humanity would be war. And I say that because as of right now, in 2025, there's so much war that we see and so much hardship for people, like where we see Russia and Ukraine, and so much tension between countries because of tariffs on the Canada and Mexico. And I believe that we would solve this by just making sure, because with tariffs on Canada and Mexico, maybe if we just if we could work with them. Canada, for years and years and years ago, they used to be the most prominent shipbuilding community for NATO. And if we could use our resources and give them to them, and them give us their resources in return, then we could create peaceful alliances and have one of our closest friends, our closest allies back, and have stronger relations and grow the entire NATO community.
And then the final question for these top 4.
Before I answer my last question, my team goes in backstage. I'd like to thank the judges for being here today and judging us and picking, I guess, the next group. So I really appreciate you guys. For my last one, I would like to pick character and leadership for 400.
Can you give an example of a time when you had to do the right thing even though it was hard?
A time I had to do the right thing even though it was hard. So as you guys may not know, I attend the Ron Clark Academy, and I am a performer. I love to rap, I love to songwrite, I love to dance. That's truly my passion. Miss Brown, she is mainly our choreographer for our performances, and for our opening number, when educators come to the Ron Clark Academy to learn more about our school, we were making a new opening number, and we had to learn raps, the chorus, and the dance. And I was like, whoa, if rapping and dancing is my passion, why not I try out for it? But then I had to sit back and think. People don't really get recognized that much when they're shy, so I felt like maybe I shouldn't learn the part and I should give it away to somebody else. And also in the old opening number, I was rapping as well. Even though it was hard for me because I know rapping and performing is my passion, I knew it was right to give the rap to somebody else.
Okay.
So there you have it, the top 4 of the top 8. Well, we don't know the order in which they ranked, actually, but these are 4 of the top 8. And now, finally, I have Kirk Brown here.
Emily,
we're super
and
excited. The top 8.
Ryan.
These 4 are going first. They have picked their questions, and as you saw, a different version, our spin to Jeopardy.
Absolutely.
But we love that, right? We saw that the students were the majority of them, kind of warming up first to start with the easier questions.
What kind of questions are going to be behind that board? Now, what you don't know, and I was about to tell you before this began, is that we had 12 students here this morning for a breakfast with judges. They were judged on their table etiquette, of course, but their conversational skills at the table as well. And so they had to eat breakfast with several different judges. They would stay there for a few moments, engage,
really
and then move to the next table. They were there with another competitor as well, with 2 judges scoring them, and those top 12 were narrowed down to the top 8 that we see on the main stage now.
Yeah. So we're super proud of those top 12, and now we have our top 8. You saw the first 4 just went, and now we have the next group coming on stage to take their positions at the podium. And we'll see how they do and which questions they select. Will this group go for the banger and start with the 1,000 questions first, or will they warm up and then select later?
Absolutely.
Great graphics here on the screen. As each of these student competitors come out. Shout out to Cam Bradley, David Spearman, Sasipo Mello, Bearden for making these graphics come together.
But the Jeopardy is Amazing Shake Jeopardy, which is a little different. Here's how it works. If you look behind you, you will see the selections that you could make, and you will see categories. You will select the category and the point value that you want to go for. The easier, if we could put the points up on the board and the screen, please. As you'll see, the easier points will be easier questions. The harder points will be harder questions. If you choose an 1,000-point question, it may impress the judges that you're going for it, but they're hard. They're difficult. It's really easy to answer a 200-point question, but in the judge's mind, they didn't really go for it. Or do you kind of go in the middle, a safe bet? Well, you're taking a chance, but not that big of a chance. And you can choose any category you want. This is unlike regular Jeopardy because you're not going to ring in. You get to choose whatever question you want. You will each get to choose 3 questions and have as much time as you want to answer your question. Any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, Preston, you're going to be up first. Pick your category and your point value.
And here we go.
If you just, on the microphone, just press up on that little button, and there we go.
I would choose Deep Thoughts 1000.
All right, going straight for the 1,000-point questions.
If you could ask one question to every person on earth and hear their honest answer, what would you ask and why?
I would ask, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a leader, a follower, and different characteristics of yourself? And I would ask them because it's always nice to learn someone's personality and understand how they see the world and how they function through their everyday life. And just getting to know someone and building that connection and a relationship is very important to me, and that matters a lot in life when you're meeting new people, when you can make that connection and possible business opportunities, or just talking to someone at a fast food station. They might be having a bad day, and asking them about themselves can make them feel great about themselves. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll go with character and leadership for 800.
Okay. And your question, is it more important for a leader to be respected or liked, and why?
I think that it is more important for a leader to be respected. If a leader is not respected by their people, then how in the world is that leader going to be able to lead its people? If your people do not respect you and respect who you are as a person and have belief in you, then you're not going to be able to lead them, and you are not going to be able to make a difference in their lives, in their community. And that is what a leader should be able to do. Thank you.
Hello? Oh, it says it's dead battery.
Oh, wow. Okay. Would you mind sharing yours, Olivia, for now? Thank you.
I'll choose Deep Thoughts 800, please.
All right, Deep Thoughts 800. When is the right time to speak up, and when is it better to stay silent?
This is a question that I thought about a lot, especially when it comes to being a leader. And I think there's many times where you do need to speak up and step in and give people your advice when it's necessary and when it's very important. But there are definitely times where you need to step back and let people experience it for themselves. Me personally, I am very thankful for the many leaders and mentors I have in my life, and for the times that they have stepped in and stepped out. And it's in those times where they've stepped out that I'm able to take action and learn from my mistakes. If we don't make mistakes, we aren't going to grow. And it's in those mistakes that I'm able to step back, reflect, and then move on and do better in the future. So I think that it's important to not only give advice and speak up for people, but also step back and let them make the mistakes and learn for themselves. Thank you.
Solid response there.
Leadership 1,000.
Character.
Gregory going for the 1,000-point question.
What's a character flaw you've worked on, and how has it made you stronger?
Well, one flaw that I've always had, I'm a very energetic person. I like to talk a lot. I like to be there and give a lot of ideas, give a lot of my own mind. And one thing I've had to work on, honestly adding on to Presley's point, just learning when to speak up and learning when to stay silent. Because to be a good leader, you have to know when it's time to step back. Let other people present their ideas, because you never know what other people have to present. You never know what ideas or what other perspectives that other people have in their minds. And something I've really had to learn is when it's time for me as a person to, be like, okay, I may have these ideas in my head, but other people have thoughts too. Other people have many incredible ideas in their head, and I need to be able to be open-minded enough to let people present their own ideas. That's been something that I've truly been working on.
Okay.
Speaking with a lot of passion and conviction there about his flaws and what he's doing to work on them. So that's Gregory Wright.
Technology in the future 1,000.
Okay. In the year 2050, what do you think would be the biggest challenge facing humanity, and how would you solve it?
So obviously there's something called AI now. I'm sure everyone's familiar with it. That's a big thing with kids using it for homework, using it for tests, using it to write essays instead of being creative. And I think that creativity problem might start happening. Kids are getting lazy, start procrastinating what they're doing and not doing their actual work. And one way to solve this, I think, would maybe putting some kind of law on the AI, or some different websites and different apps to stop the AI, or get more leaders talking to the students around the schools about AI and how to stop them, make them stop, and fill their brain with confidence. And you can do it yourself. If you use AI and you complete something, are you really using your creativity? That's what I would think about it. Thank you.
Solid response there.
technology in the future for 800.
Should artificial intelligence be allowed to make important decisions for humans? Why or why not?
I do not think that artificial intelligence should be able to make important decisions for humans. And here's why. It's not a human. It does not have the brain and the soul that a human has. Each human person is created by God for a purpose. You have a soul. You are beautiful and you are enough. You have incredible ideas. You should be making your decisions, not some computer AI intelligence. You do you. You think you. Because you are enough, you are beautiful, and you make your own decisions. Thank you.
I will take character and leadership 600, please.
How do you define leadership?
I think this is a very broad question, so you can go a lot of ways with it. But for me personally, I think that leadership is being a servant leader. We've talked about this a lot, and as I mentioned yesterday, I am a house leader for the House of Red Oast at my school in Central Valley Christian School. And when I was applying to be a house leader, we had to make this poster about what it means to you to be a servant leader. And I think that this was the topic for a reason. I think that, especially as a Christian, we need to know, like I was mentioning earlier, when to speak up and when to step back. We need to know when to let others have their time to shine and when we can put ourselves out there and show what God has given us and our characteristics. And so I think being a leader is being a servant leader. Being able to shine your light and help others, but at the same time letting them have their time. Not hogging the attention, not always being first, not always being in the light, but being behind the scenes sometimes. Sometimes you won't get the credit. Sometimes what you do will go unnoticed. But that's okay because you know in your heart, and God sees you. He sees what you're doing. He sees your intentions. He knows your heart. He knows you better than anyone else. And so as long as you're doing your best and you're doing what He would want you to do, it's okay if you don't get the credit. And so I think that's what being a leader is. Being a servant leader who works behind the scenes.
Go for 600.
Tariffs on Canada and Mexico for 600. If Canada and Mexico respond with tariffs of their own, how might that impact everyday people in the United States?
Well, I believe, so we already are placing 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico. Now, Canada yesterday, Mark Carney, the Prime Minister for Canada, responded saying that all connections or ties with the U.S. connecting their economies or the military is already over. So we're already losing bonds and relationships with these countries. And for them to strike tariffs of their own on us, that's detrimental for our economy. Because one, our imported goods from those places are already higher. So the consumer paying for, let's say you're buying something, right, from a big name company. That big name company gets something from Mexico or Canada. Now it's going to be harder for that big name company to buy something from Canada because the prices are higher, meaning that they're going to have to increase the prices of their products for everyday consumers like yourself. Now, them placing tariffs on us, that means if we're trying to import goods to them, that means it's going to be higher. It's going to be higher prices for them to get it from us. But because it's higher prices, they're not going to want to get products from the U.S. and from America. Now, America, a lot of our economy, we give a lot of imported goods. We import a lot of goods into different countries and different places. And Canada and Mexico have already stated that they are already looking for new countries and new places to get their things from, showing that they don't rely on us. They do not need us. And by them not relying on us or buying from us, that means that we're not making as much money as we could because we're not getting people to buy from us. And that's the whole thing with producer consumer. You make something, people buy it. But if we're making things and people are not buying it, that means our economy eventually, we're losing money. And for an economy in America that's already plummeting due to inflation, honestly, this is truly detrimental for America.
All right, we have one final question for each of the contestants.
I will choose current events 1000.
In a world full of global issues, how should students like you take action, even if you're not directly involved?
I think everyone in the world has a voice, and they should use that voice. Everyone has different opinions, because we're all so different with different personalities. But if we really, really think about what we want, we can make a change in the world. Even if it's a little change, it's still changing the world. Everyone that has changes, it helps, like I was saying. And if you're involved in it, you're not directly involved, like I said, you're making a big change, and it's helping others. The main thing in this world is we need to help out each other. And I think the world needs more love instead of hatred. And with hatred, it's causing a lot of problems with students my age and people, adults. So love that from God, the real love that he implied for us, will show how good we can be as human beings. Thank you.
I will take deep thoughts for 600, please.
What do you think is more powerful, kindness or intelligence? Why?
That's a very great question. For me, personally, I'm going to say kindness. And I say this because kindness can change somebody's life. It changed mine. When I was in 5th grade, I lost who I was, and I actually talked about this yesterday. I didn't know who I was. I lost my 2 best friends, and for a month, I felt like I was nothing. I tell a lot of people I felt like I was dirt. But then one day, a girl that I had known for a very long time simply just said hi to me, just acknowledged me, just smiled at me. She showed me kindness, and she changed my life. Then, later on, I met another one of my best friends, and we maybe didn't get off to the best start. But as I started to show her kindness, and as she started to give it back to me, and I truly felt the connection that was there, kindness sparked into a friendship that I can guarantee you I will not lose. You can have intelligence, but if you don't have people to rely on from kindness and compassion, then you will not be able to take on challenges in life. And we are defined by how we overcome challenges and how we face adversity. Thank you.
Strong response there, bringing in that personal element. Very impressive.
I will take deep thoughts for 400, please.
Do you believe more people are born to lead or learn to lead?
This is a topic that I've discussed with a lot of people multiple different times. And I think there's definitely people out there who are born to lead. But personally, I think that there's more people who learn to lead. Me personally, I have not always been the best leader. I am naturally a shy person, especially when I was in elementary school. I was always shy whenever I was with my parents. We'd be out in public, we'd see people, I'd be more shy, I wouldn't really say hi to them. But as I entered middle school and I began interacting with different people in a different campus, different teachers, different environment, I came out of my shell a little bit. I was out of my comfort zone. I was pushed. And so I learned how to lead. I learned that it's okay to talk to strangers. It's not scary. And they're going to listen to you. And I know that the worst thing that can happen is that they ignore me or they just don't agree with what I say. But even then, I know that I can put my hope in Jesus. I can put my hope in him because I know that no matter what happens, he's always going to listen to me. He's always going to be there for me, no matter what I've done, no matter what I will do, he still loves me regardless of that. And so I learned how to lead because I got rid of that fear. And I didn't necessarily get rid of it, it's still there, but I learned how to overcome it. I learned that with Jesus, I can overcome that. And so I learned that I can overcome my fears, and so I learned how to lead properly and to come out of my comfort zone, and I was pushed by many people around me. And I think that's also a big part of it. So that's what I strive to do every day, to help others to come out of their shell, to help others be pushed out of their comfort zone, because I know that that happened in my life, and I know that I want to help others do that too, because it was an amazing experience, and I will never forget it. Thank you.
For 800.
What role do social media platforms play in shaping the way we see current events for better or worse?
Look, I'll tell y'all right now, I'm a young person, so I use social media a lot. And honestly, with platforms like TikTok, personally, it helps a lot just receiving current events and knowing about them. Just because of the fact, I mean, I'm just scrolling on my For You page, I'm scrolling on TikTok, and I see all these different news events that otherwise I wouldn't have been exposed to. Because I know a lot of people my age, you know, we all watch. If you're a young person in the audience, raise your hand if you have the app TikTok. A majority of the young people here. And a lot of us, we get current events, we get a lot of information off of TikTok. But I will say there are cons because there's a lot of misinformation that can be used on social media platforms. And I feel like to truly make social media a better place to find current events, we need to find that balance. And I like to connect this to basketball a lot because I'm a basketball player. And I see it as we just got to keep throwing up shots until one goes in. Because at the end of the day, we have to find a balance between having social media platforms and still being able to find current events without having so much misinformation and false news. Because a lot of children, a lot of people my age, we are very impressionable. So misinformation on these platforms, it can be very detrimental to us. But I do feel like at the end of the day, social media has such an upside to finding current events and just life in general that at the end of the day, as long as we can find that balance, having social media for current events will always be a pro in my book.
So there you have it, our top 8 contestants. The judges have a hard task because, to be clear, they're not scored on how many points they got during this Jeopardy game, but rather how they conveyed their opinion, and not judged on what their opinion is, but rather how they were able to articulate it, explain it to the audience, be convincing, and the poise with which they were able to share it as well.
Yep, and as we explained, the higher point questions were a little bit more difficult, and so if they selected to go with those questions, the judges were looking at how well they responded to harder questions as opposed to easier questions. And you saw in this round, the students went straight for the 1,800 point questions.
And I found it interesting to hear many questions repeated themselves. They were selected the same question, and to hear the different answers that they gave to that same question. I thought that was interesting as well.
I thought that was fantastic. And I like this approach of selecting different questions because what tends to happen sometimes is they start to repeat themselves with the same responses to one question. And so here they have different questions, different, opportunities to shine and show their knowledge. And so that was fantastic as well.
So on the main stage now, the students were grouped into crews where they got to interact with one another, uplift one another, support each other. And so each crew leader selected one student who really stood out as being an encourager, a spirited student. So let's go to the main stage and see the students who are being recognized for that.
Crew G, Gotham Unithon. Crew H, Jackson Phillips. Crew I, Haley Simmons. Crew J, Litza Marie Hernandez Lizardo. Crew K, Kaylin Pell. And Crew L, Haley Vanderven.
So these students were recognized because they were just good kids. They were kind to others, they were uplifting, they were supportive, they were encouragers, and so we want to recognize that too because we do think that that's an important part of the competition.
Absolutely. A big part of the competition, Kim, is like how do they build those connections, those relationships, show that kindness, that compassion, that friendship, and getting a shout out at this moment in the competition is always special because it shows that they stood out in some way around, among those character traits. May
not be in the top 8, but by gosh, we're really, really showcasing how much they care about other people, and we think that's very important. At the top of the broadcast, I shared with you that we started with a gauntlet round and a work the room challenge. The broadcast began on the main stage before I was also able to tell you what happened in the afternoon. The top 50 students were each interviewed for 1 minute on stage. They drew a question from a bowl, some very tough questions. From those top 50, it was narrowed down to the top 30.
Top 30.
And then they were in a group interview scenario.
They did group interviews, and then the final round,
Well, we went from the top 30 to the top 12 who
top
had breakfast
12,
this morning.
yeah.
The group interviews, I think, are a big challenge because imagine being on the stage with 4 others.
Yes.
How do you not monopolize the conversation, but also be a standout and be memorable? And from that, we had the 12 that appeared at breakfast this morning. Now we're down to 8, and we're about to go to 5.
Judges, before you go, do any of you want to share any thoughts or comments for the kids about their performance on stage? Any tips? Sure. If you want to come on down, and then we'll have our top 8 come out. Let's give them a second to get on stage.
We do have hundreds of people today in the audience here at the Ron Kirk Academy for these finals, and you can hear the supportive audience cheering for them.
Yes.
Good morning. I'm Chad Koenig, former board member here and on the advisory council. I'm in commercial real estate. I just want to say to all of you, unbelievable. I mean, to sit down here and watch you guys perform at the age you're, I say perform, I mean, the composure, the way you answer those questions. I know we would have all struggled to answer those questions with the responses that you gave. So all of you, this is a really, really tough challenge, and you're down to the last 8 of you. And to start with 400, to be here is incredible. You all have great futures. I would love to hire some of you someday. So just keep up the great work.
Awesome. Thank you.
Let's give a round of applause to our judges. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you very much. And now it's time to announce.
And here we are.
Our top 5. Moving on. And if you win this, you're going to select the order for the next round. So coming in 5th place, Emily Bird.
Emily Bird, number 63, coming in 5th place. Moving on to the final round of the Global Amazing Shake. McLean Welch in 4th place.
2nd place, Ryan Clark.
Ryan Clark tying for 2nd place.
2nd place, Olivia Cortez.
Olivia Cortez again, 2nd place.
Gregory Wright.
And 1st place, Gregory Wright, moving on to the finals.
So you see some very, very exciting students, and I really love the variety of the types of answers that these students gave on stage as well. I think that this is going to be fascinating to see what happens in this next round. We have a wonderful local television personality coming here, Karen Greer, highly respected, just an incredibly respected part of the Atlanta community, and she is going to be interviewing these students one-on-one on stage for us to be able to determine the Amazing Shake champion. And so it's really going to be beautiful. Maybe the types of questions, we'll see how this is determined.
Variety of questions. Let's go to the main stage.
On stage when the others are on there, so they don't have any advantage like that. So for our next session and our final round, it is a one-on-one interview, and we're really thrilled to have an Atlanta legend here. She's been an anchor in Atlanta. She's been in the establishment for over 30 years. She is on Channel 2 Action News on WSB-TV right here in Atlanta. She's a member of the National Board of Directors for the National Academy for Television and Film. She's also won 10 Emmy Awards. So she is truly phenomenal. Please give it up, everyone, for Miss Karen Greer.
Karen Greer, Atlanta icon, legend, moderating
our local favorites.
Our favorite,
Karen Greer,
moderating this final round for us here in the Global Amazing Shake.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good morning.
So I did forget one little thing. I forgot that I had to ask Greg what order they want to go in. You ready? Oh, so perfect back there. All right. Did you get the card with?
I do, and they are in my purse, which I left right here.
I'll grab it for you.
Thank you. Didn't want anyone to look over my shoulder. How you guys doing today? Wow, what a competition. I am so excited to be here and be a part of this with you. Okay, they're in there. Where are they, Ron?
I don't know.
There. No.
No.
Okay.
Are you
a woman in her purse, let me tell you.
Listen, I will tell you, there are a lot of things in there. I saw Mentos, I saw a book, I saw a pocketbook.
I hid them off from myself. Here they are.
Look at it. Great, thank you. Woo-hoo! All right, McLean. So we need a handheld for McLean as well, I believe.
Hey, great to meet
A handheld
you.
mic for McLean as well.
I am great. How are you?
A handheld mic for McLean.
And while they're getting that mic, let me just say you guys are all amazing. Don't ever think that since you did not make it to this next round that you are at all losers. You are all winners. Please. I work with people every day who would not be able to put a sentence together as well as you all have. Or a thought. So you all are amazing. And I won't say I want to hire you. I know you'll probably be working over me, be my boss. So
Definitely not.
all right, well, great to meet you, McLean. Let me ask you, imagine if you were running to become president of your country. What would be the 3 main points of your campaign platform?
One main point that I think is really important is bipartisanship. This is one thing that I've said in the breakfast, in my previous rounds before, and it's one thing that saddens me about the political world today, is that we could be at a party, and you could be a Republican, and I could be a Democrat. We're not going to talk to each other anymore. In the 60s, when JFK was running for president, the debates would be civilized. Now it's not. It's really saddening to me, and I really would like to fix that. A second issue that I think really needs to be tackled is world peace. I feel like with the current administration, there's some strongholds that are happening right now to make sure that it's not happening. And I think that's a really important issue that needs to be tackled now, or it can continue to drag on and more lives would be lost. And I think that's really sad. And the last thing would be the economy. The economy was one thing of the major campaign that the Trump administration promised to bring back, but it still hasn't happened. The eggs are still crazy expensive, too much for my bank account to handle, even though I'm not buying it, okay?
Bank account, wow.
Just set it up, as I told some of you. But I think the economy is one thing that needs to be focused on for the citizens of America, and we need to really make sure that we can take that down and handle that immediately.
Great, thank you so much. Let me ask you this one. Should leaders always tell the truth, even when it could cause some pain or some panic? Why or why not?
That's a great question, and it's something that is happening around the world now, especially with leaders. A lot of leaders are not telling the truth to us, and that's sad, but there is sometimes great reasoning for it. A lot of people, conspiracy theories about the assassination of JFK, and those files were released to us a few days ago, but there was one file that was not. And that's for the better, I think, of the country to keep some secrets. If a person who assassinated JFK was working with Russia, war immediately. There's going to be a war breaking out between Russia. So I think those kind of secrets are really great to keep. But I think for the most part, there needs to be truth in what every politician says.
And McLean, what does it mean to leave a legacy, and how do you want to be remembered?
Well, I want to be remembered as somebody who came here, gave it all at the Global Amazing Shake, and leaving a legacy is leaving a mark, leaving something that really represents you. I mean, a lot of people says be yourself, but my mom always says be unique. You want to make sure that you're remembered at the end of the day by the judges, and that's one thing that is really key to leaving a legacy. Be unique, be your own, and that's one thing that I want to leave here. Be unique. Add your own spin to your things. Add to your speeches and everything.
You wake up, suddenly everyone's speaking in song lyrics. How do you order breakfast?
By singing, of course. If everybody's singing, I'm a part of the Georgia Boy Choir, which is a great experience. I'm going to start singing some opera.
Let's hear it. What would you like for breakfast?
I love it. I love it.
That was amazing.
Okay.
Strange answer, but, you know.
The great answer. Is there anyone out in this wonderful audience who's actually pulling for you to do well today? Is there anything you'd like to say to them?
Well, I would like to say thank you for believing in me. Thank you for helping me become here. There's one person in particular who believed in me to give me this opportunity to be here. I actually wasn't in the top 12 in our Amazing Shake at our school, but this person really believed in me and helped me become here in the Global Amazing Shake, and I want to thank her in particular. And I want to thank everybody who is rooting for me. Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to be here.
All right, McLean Welch there, wrapping up his one-on-one interview. How fantastic was that, Kim?
First of all, the boy can sing, and I have incredible, the Georgia Boy Choir, so much talent. But I love the knowledge that he shared.
Yes.
It was very obvious that he knew about current events, the world events, those tough questions. I think he demonstrated his knowledge.
Yeah. And we have our next contestant up here, Miss Olivia Cortez.
Can everybody hear me? Yes. All right, now we're on.
Now we are on. Great to meet you, Olivia.
Great to meet you as well.
Your first question today. Imagine you are running to become the president of your country.
Okay.
And what would be the 3 main points of your campaign platform?
Well, first off, I would definitely want to make sure that we put attention to our lower class citizens. I do feel like in the United States, we have problems when the lower class is overlooked. And I think that that's not okay. That's something that we really do need to be paying attention to. Because if we can pick up the lower part of our society, then our society can only continue to grow. Now, my second point would definitely be to keep our foreign ties strong. I always like to go back to World War II when the Allies really started to come together. I always say World War II is really what changed the world. That is why we are so evolutionary today, because of World War II. It challenged our entire world to become better through technology and through coming together. So by keeping our foreign ties strong and bonded, we can go up against anything. Now, my third, I think that it would be to make sure that the country as a whole is somehow connected in a way, to make sure that the patriotism of our nation continues to stay strong. One of my favorite things to learn in school is American history, and I love the story of the American Revolution because it's a story of the underdogs. That's who we as proud Americans are. We came from Britain telling us, we're the big bad guys, you're not gonna meet us. Well, guess what? Heck yes, we did. So I would definitely make sure to keep that patriotism strong throughout my country.
Olivia, should leaders always tell the truth, even if it's going to cause pain or panic? Why or why not?
I absolutely think that leaders should always tell the truth. And yes, it can 100% cause pain and distress and despair to its people. But guess what? Lying is only going to bring more of that to its citizens. It always will. Never in my life have I had a situation where I lied and it worked. Never. Never in my life. And if anybody has, please tell me your secret because it didn't work for me. Because lying is evil, it's bad, it's cheating. It's not right. You are protecting you, yes, because you want to keep yourself good and you want to keep yourself, I still have the right answer. They don't, but that's all right. But no, you're just causing more distress and pain for that person when they truly do find out the truth.
What does it mean to leave a legacy, and how would you like to be remembered?
To me, leaving a legacy means define yourself. I love the phrase that I actually came up with. You are defined by how you overcome challenges and how you face adversity. For me, I want people to look at me and say, you can put any challenge in front of her and she is going to give it her absolute best. A great example is actually for my Amazing Shake at my school, I got second place and I had put so much stress and pressure on myself because I knew that I could win and I didn't. But look where I am now. I'm sitting in front of all of you, one of the 5 best in the entire world out of this amazing competition. So to overcome that adversity, that's what I hope people remember about me. I hope that they remember that to overcome something, that is who defines who you are.
All right, Olivia, want to lighten things up a little bit. You wake up and suddenly everyone's ordering breakfast in song lyrics. How do you order your breakfast?
Oh my gosh, okay. Everyone is ordering breakfast in song lyrics?
Yes.
Well,
You're speaking in song lyrics.
Okay. Well, I want some eggs, I want some bacon, I want some fruit, I want some toast. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Come on, we gotta dance a little bit. Come on. Oh yeah, we gotta dance.
Getting some crowd interaction there.
No fear.
I'm gonna put a little fun on y'all, okay? Come on, we gotta have a little bit fun.
Great job.
Thank you so much.
And is there anyone out here in this audience, Olivia, who's really pulling for you to do well today? Is there anything you would like to say to them?
Where are my 3 girls over there who've been cheering for me this whole time? Group A, oh yeah! These 3 amazing ladies have been cheering for me since I actually got up on stage for the 50. I was actually called up by Mr. Clark as one of the 4 that were so close to making it but did not make it. And I got to give a word of advice to the people that were moving on. And he said, well, guess what? There's a judge in this audience who is judging you right now. And I was one of the 2 that he picked to continue moving on. And I get to stand here right now. And while I was right there on that very last chair, all I could hear was them cheering for me the whole time. So thank y'all so much. And go Group A. We got this.
Let's hear it for Olivia.
All right, that's number 92, Olivia Cortez, rounding out her one-on-one interview with Atlanta News anchor Karen Greer, getting and showing a little bit of her personality there on the lyrics question.
Right, I love this kind of format for the finals because I feel like you get to know a lot of different facets, their political knowledge, knowledge about world events, but also a little bit about their personalities as well. So now we have our 3rd contestant of the 5 coming out to be interviewed.
All right, looks like Emily Birds, is up next for her question.
I'm doing just good. How are you?
I am great, thank you. So honored to meet you all.
Yes, you as well.
All right, let's get right into it. Imagine you are running for president of your country. What would be the 3 main points of your campaign platform?
3 main points. First, I would work on peace and equality. So in America, I would try to show everybody that we need to lift each other's up and not bring each other's down. We need to support people and support peace. And my second point would be just to show everybody love, to show everybody just help, because sometimes, all the time, everybody's going through a hard time and we all have difficult situations. And I think that through my campaign as president, we could show everybody that working together and not tearing each other down, then that would make our country a great place. And third, religion. I believe that God is the reason that our country is doing so great, and I believe that with him, we can make America great again.
All right. Should leaders, now you're president, should leaders always tell the truth even when it comes or could cause panic or pain? Why or why not?
Well, white lies are a thing, and I understand the reason. I believe that sometimes keeping people from a truth could benefit them in the long run. I do, but I think that there needs to be full transparency from a president. I believe that if you're going to be in that kind of position, if you're going to have that kind of role in the country, then you should be able to tell your citizens what you're doing. You shouldn't feel the need to lie. There should be actions going on, things taking place that would want you to spread truth.
Okay. What does it mean to have and leave a legacy, and how do you want to be remembered?
To leave a legacy, I say, would be showing people that with your life, what you did, it mattered. You didn't just float through life. You didn't just let that everything hit you in the face. You combated them. It's not the tasks that you're given. It's not the challenges that you face, but it's how you face them and how you react to those situations. And I think as part of my legacy, I would want to show my generations after me that I just really did support that everybody had a voice and that everybody deserves to be heard.
All right, you wake up tomorrow morning, everyone's speaking in song lyrics. How are you going to order breakfast?
May I please have some pancakes with some syrup on the side and maybe a little bit of warm and melty butter.
I think you'll get it.
Thank you. Hope so.
And finally, is there anyone in this wonderful audience who's really pulling hard for you to do well today? And is there something you'd like to say to them?
Miss Emily Jacobs. So my name is Emily, and she is my chaperone. She is just the most amazing, cool person ever. She's so sweet. Like, I cannot stress that enough. I'm gonna cry. She's just been there for everything for me, and every step of the way, sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
She's been a big part of my life, and I really appreciate her, and I want her to know that I love her.
All right, Miss Emily. Emily thanks you, and Emily, we thank you.
All right, Emily Bird, rounding out her one-on-one with Karen Greer, and I really liked how she called out a teacher specifically by name. I think she's the only person so far to actually name someone, which I think is a very important aspect
These
of the
educators
competition.
have worked really hard to get their students here, working with them, spending their time, chaperoning them, so really grateful. And here we have Ryan Clark, our fourth of the 5.
It's been a long weekend for you guys.
It has been, yes, ma'am.
All right, so let's get right into it.
I'm ready.
Imagine you are running to become president of your country.
Yes, ma'am.
What would be the 3 main points of your platform?
The 3 main points of my platform is to do whatever is best for your country. Not what's only best for you internally, but to do what's best for your country as a whole. There are many people in the United States of America, and as Donald Trump being our president, I feel like he should be focusing on the things that's best for his country instead of the people himself.
Should leaders always tell the truth, even when it could cause pain or panic? Why or why not?
I think leaders should always tell the truth because as a leader myself, I feel like the truth is always right. Lying isn't, going to get you anywhere. I feel like telling the truth, even though it might not be something you really want to express or something you really want to say, I feel like the truth is always right because it'll get you somewhere great in the long run.
And what does it mean to leave a legacy? And how would you like to be remembered?
I think leaving a legacy is doing what's right for other people. I go to the Ron Clark Academy, and Ryan Marshall has an incredible legacy left here. I look up to him so much because, of course, I am in the same house as him, the House of Rivera, and we also have the same exact name, Ryan. I feel like he left an incredible legacy here at the Ron Clark Academy, and I would like to be remembered as a person who never gives up, to be a person that always tries their best, and to be a person to stick up for others when they don't have the voice to do so.
All right, we're gonna lighten it up here. You wake up in the morning and everyone is speaking in song lyrics. How are you gonna order breakfast?
I'm gonna sing to them as well. I would like a biscuit and some butter and some jelly. I would want some orange juice and a side of bacon too.
All right, Ryan. And the final question, is there anyone in this audience who's pulling for you to do well today? Is there something you'd like to say to them special?
I'm sorry. Mr. Patrick, I was backstage and I was freaking out really, really bad. And he told me to believe in myself and that I got this. And then I guess this whole weekend, he's always been by my side and being someone I can count on when I needed help. I texted him the night that I got home and I made top 12. And he told me that I was amazing and that I was going to do great. So to Mr. Patrick, I love you so much and you mean the world to me. Thank you.
So the emotions are coming out now. After 3 days of competition, these students, you can tell that just a lot of emotions coming out here about the pressure of all of this and also showing a gratitude.
Student website so you can learn more about me.
Would you like to fill in for me tomorrow?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ryan.
A lot of tears
Great
and emotion.
meeting you.
One more to go.
We finish out the final round for these students, and we'll determine who the winner is after this final interview. I think we have one more student, right?
And Greg won the last round. He got to choose the order. He chose last. Let's see if it works for him.
All right.
Welcome, welcome. Are you ready?
Ma'am.
All right, let's talk about you running to be president of your country. You ready for that?
Yes, ma'am.
What would be the 3 main topics in your platform?
Well, one of the main topics I would speak on is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, as we know, Donald Trump, our president currently, has actually taken away all DEI on different websites, different memorial websites, and actually classes at colleges, high schools, and middle schools here. We're unable to teach about diversity, equity, and inclusion. So African people or any other minority, we're unable to teach that. So my main focus, being a black male, is making sure every culture and every person is represented in history. Because of the fact, if you're not represented in history, how is oneself going to know their own history? I don't want everybody to just be focused on one individual's or one race's history. Everybody needs to know, one, where they came from, two, what is the history of where they came from, and how can they improve themselves, and how can we learn from history to make ourselves better in the future. Now, my second topic I would like to speak on would definitely be climate change. I want to speak on climate change just because of the fact it's a growing thing. It's a growing issue in America and in the world in general. Just because there's a lot of pollution going around, a lot of carbon emissions that are going into the atmosphere and causing our atmosphere to become worse. Now, our world is very delicate. I mean, it's down to the most minute details what keeps our world stable and what keeps our world functioning. Now, currently, we have about 0.47% of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. Now, if that number were to even just reach maybe 0.52%, our whole atmosphere, our whole entire landscape of the world would be completely shifted. The ice caps would start melting, sea levels would rise. It would just be a global disaster. So we really need to hone in on this climate change because our world is so delicate. I mean, it's such a great place. And don't we all want to protect our earth? That's principle. And my third topic, again, I would really just like to hone in on inclusivity. Not even just with diversity, but just as a country, we're so divided. We're so divided, whether it's Republican, Democrat, oh, I like this basketball team and you like this basketball team, we're rivals. It doesn't matter, we're just so divided as a people. And I feel like we all just need to come together and be one as a people. Because how are we gonna want to change political issues if we can't even come together as a people and be united? Because Republicans, Democrats, as you've seen for the past 4 years in Joe Biden's term and now, it's so divided and it's so hard to get laws to pass through or anything to even happen in the Congress. I mean, we had at least 2 government shutdowns in the past about 2 years. And I really believe it's because we're not included and united as a people. So if I were to be president, I'd make sure everybody feels like they have a place in America. Even if you're an immigrant, if you're from here, it doesn't matter where you're from. We will take you in because in America, we include everybody and we are one as a people.
All right. So say you're president now. Should leaders always tell the truth, even if it could cause pain or panic? Why or why not?
Honestly, I feel like as a leader, even without just being president, as a leader in general, whether it's a group project or even, I have a little brother. So leading my little brother, I have to tell the truth. It's about having trust in your people. And I feel like nowadays, a lot of people, I know myself, I don't have trust in my president, And I feel like that's because a lot of things are held from us as American people. A lot of truths that should be told are not told to us. So I feel like in different press conferences and things, you should give the truth because, what do you have to hide? You shouldn't have anything to hide from your American people. You're leading these people. Wouldn't you want the people of your country to know everything they should? You shouldn't be keeping things from the people of the country that you're leading. So I feel like in any aspect of life, you should always tell the truth Because something my mom told me, honesty is always the best policy. And if you're not being honest, nobody will trust you. So having trust in your community and being honest will always prevail. And with being president, yes, you should always have honesty.
You mentioned legacy. What does it mean to leave a legacy, and how do you want to be remembered?
That's a great question. Honestly, legacy, I define it as just leaving an impact on somebody. You know, you don't have to be on the walls of a school or be on some sort of placard to have a legacy. As long as you've made an impact on one person's life, it could be anybody in the world. It doesn't matter. As long as you've left an impact on at least one singular person in your life, that means you left a legacy. Because you left a lasting imprint on somebody that will always remember your name and remember what you did for them. And I want to thank one of my greatest mentors. I know it sounds cliche, but my mother. She's just always told me, you know, always be kind to somebody. Because you never know what people are going through. And if you're kind to somebody, you could leave a lasting imprint on them. Leave that lasting legacy. And that makes them have motivation to go pursue their passion or pursue their dream in life. And you may not even know it. You may not ever see that person again. It may just be me walking up to you and say, hey, I like that cardigan. It's very nice. And that may have left a lasting imprint on you. You know, that may have boosted your self-esteem for the day. That may have made your day. It's really the small things that can truly leave a legacy. And my legacy personally, I just want to be remembered as somebody who was kind. I want to be remembered as somebody who always gave their best foot forward, put everything they had into it, gave their best, and always tried to make somebody happy. Thank you.
All right, great. You wake up tomorrow morning and suddenly everyone's speaking in song lyrics. How do you order your breakfast?
Okay, how would I order my breakfast? Well, okay, so I'll give y'all my favorite breakfast spot. Me personally, I'm a Waffle House lover, you know. I'm from Atlanta and all that, so there's a lot of Waffle Houses here. I love me some good Waffle House. So, hey, I'll rap for y'all.
Go for it.
Right.
Go for it.
Okay, so
use your mic.
I'll give you all the beats, so let's go. Hey. Okay. I get up and I get me some waffles and I'ma get me some bacon. And I said, I want some bacon. I said, I want some bacon on my waffles. And I don't want no cereal with it. I said, I want some butter with it. I said, I really want some waffles and some bacon because I'm really at the Waffle House right now.
I'm gonna go to the Waffle House today. That got me hungry.
That sounds like a good breakfast. All right, and wrapping things up, is there anyone in this audience who's really pulling for you to do well today, and what would you like to say to them?
My good friend Addison, I know you up there. She was participating with me, and I know she really wanted to win it badly. And I want to win it for you, just because I know how passionate you are about this, and how much work you put in. And for me to be on this stage right now, just representing myself, my mother, my father, and my whole family, I want to say thank you for always being by my side, you know, being a friend. And I was talking about kindness. You were one of the first people at this school that just showed me compassion as a friend, and I appreciate you a lot. So just to win it for her, you know, I would love it, you know.
Oh, that's wonderful. Speaking about friendship there, very beautiful. All the students here, very, very emotional here, as you can tell, coming into the finals, because That's it.
That
the
is,
competition is complete now. Now it is up to the judges to determine which of these incredible young people is going to be the 2025 Global Amazing Shake Champion.
Laying it all out there on the stage, all the emotions to hopefully bring home the title of the 2025 Global Amazing Shake Champion. So again, want to shout out to our top 5, Emily Bird, Olivia Cortez, Ryan Clark, Gregory Wright, and McLean Welch. So in a few moments, we'll know which will be moving on, or who are our top 3, and then our global champion.
Absolutely. And right now we are going to be recognizing some other students who have just stood out throughout the course of the entire competition. So let's hear who they are.
All right.
The medal. Come on down, Derek. And then winning the First Impression Award is Gotham Unithan. Mr. Zayas. Okay. Sorry. Congratulations. Congratulations. Our Deep Thoughts medal goes to Ellie Mermel.
These are students throughout the course of the competition, even when they're not in an official competition space, just stood out to the hundreds of adults who are in the building and the staff members. We don't judge any of the Amazing Shake, but we did have input into some of these medal students that just throughout the building, throughout the course of the competition, they really stood out.
Yeah, some superlative awards, again, for making a difference, making an impact throughout the competition on the staff members here and some of the folks who have been interacting with them over the course of the weekend. And so it's just some more honor and recognition for these students.
Some real lovely children. Each of those children on the stage at different times have come up throughout the course and given appreciation to everybody here. So I'm glad they're being recognized.
There we go. Where is she? Come on down. Our Top Advisor Award goes to an individual who does a lot to work with the kids. He was even shouted out many times throughout this weekend, and it is Patrick Funai.
All right. Shout out to Mr.
Who
Patrick.
would work with students every lunch and recess, from what I understand, just to help prepare them for the Amazing Shake. That is a lot of personal time when he probably didn't get lunch himself, really trying to make sure these students felt prepared and ready for this competition.
Yeah. Shout out to him.
And the award for your crew or any other medal that you may be wearing right now. If you could please also join us on the stage.
All right.
Oh, getting ready to hear who the winner is. The judges are tabulating the scores. And something I find interesting is that we had students, you can tell, from very different backgrounds, very different opposing political views.
And if you
and the students
have
are not
someone in the final 5 in your crew, if a member of your crew is in the top 5,
it's going to be really fascinating because our judges come from all different backgrounds as well.
They do.
So it's going to be very, very wonderful to hear who our Global Amazing Shake champion. It's anyone's game at this point.
Anyone's game. And yes, you're right. It's all about not what you believe, but how do you defend your thoughts? How do you speak with conviction and passion? And how do you get through to the judges and make a connection and impress them on your knowledge of those topics? And so it is a hard job for them to kind of narrow down those scores between a 0 and a 20 to determine which of those students are going to stand out and rise above as a global champion.
And it has been such an incredible 3 days, and I will tell you that these students throughout the course of competitions, they've had competition on the main stage and how they can captivate an audience, but they've also had many one-on-one conversations, one-on-one small group interviews, dining etiquette and being able to convey thoughts that way, being able to think on their feet, be able to have creativity in their answers, being able to speak about world events, political things.
Yeah.
They've had so many different things that they've had to display. So there are students who have, giftedness in one area, but these students that are here, they've had to really exemplify strengths in every single one of those areas,
variety.
which is, and just the physical exhaustion of it. I think that some of those tears, and of course, the passion for which they feel for those people is very genuine and heartfelt. It was very obvious, but I know that those tears came so quickly because of the emotion that has been put into all of this, and the hard work, the time. I'm sure a lot of them did not sleep last night.
Yeah, I mean, narrowing down from thousands of kids across the country and around the world to come to Atlanta as a global 412 students competing, now down to the top 5.
And these are middle school students.
Middle school students. So impressive. And I think we are close to announcing which of these students are going to be our top 3, and then we're going to name that Global Amazing Shake Champion 2025. And a shout out to our sponsors again. This competition is being presented by Inspire Foundation.
All right, everyone. We're going to have our final 5 right here in a line. Here we go. Y'all come up just a little bit from the back. All right, we have our results.
Here we go.
All right, everybody. Coming in 3rd place is Ryan Clark.
Ryan Clark, 3rd place in the world for the Global Amazing Shake competition.
2nd place, McLean Welch.
McLean Welch coming in 2nd in the world.
Winner of the 2025 Global Amazing Shake, Gregory Wright.
Wins it. Lots of fireworks and celebration here, and you can see the excitement in the room.
And it's
such excitement. And that is Addison Riley, the friend that he was referring to, and how happy and excited he was for her. Very proud of Gregory Wright, McLean and Ryan Clark. McLean Welch and Ryan Clark are top 3.
Yes.
But special shout out to Gregory Wright, the Global Amazing Shake Champion.
And there goes the trophy, the Global Champion. Gregory Wright has shown throughout this entire competition in many ways. This is an honor, a well-deserved honor, showing up and being himself. And he is now standing here as a global champion.
Wow. Wow.
That's joy right there. Joy and pride.
First off, I want to thank Mr. Clark, all the judges, every staff member that put this whole amazing shake together. I mean, really, thank y'all. I also want to thank my mom. I don't know if you hear, Mom, but I really appreciate. Thank you. I've been doing the Amazing Shake since 5th grade. I did Global Amazing Shake in 5th and 6th grade. I got out top 10 5th grade. I got out in the debate round 6th grade. And ever since 5th grade, you always been pushing me to be my best self and just to always keep moving forward, persevering. Even the times when I didn't want to study for the Amazing Shake or study the current events, you always kept telling me, you've got a shot, so you study. And I want to thank my auntie. I don't know if you're here right now, but I really appreciate you for helping me with the debate, just helping me with my current events. She stayed up with me late at night till like 2 in the morning, helping me practice for the debate round, helping me with my current events. I want to thank Group B. I don't know where y'all at. Group B, come on. Yeah. I just want to thank every single one of y'all, especially my classmates. So Ryan, McLean, Addison, all 3 of y'all. And I just really appreciate y'all for keeping on, pushing me to be my best self and pushing me forward through this competition. And to I want to give one piece of advice to every person here. It doesn't matter what grade you're in, whether you're in 5th grade, whether you're in 8th grade, you can win this thing. And even if you don't win this thing, you have skills that you can use for life. For life. Okay? And honestly, y'all are in the top 400 in the world. You should be proud of yourself just for that. You should. Like, that's incredible. And whatever you do in life, when you get older and you get out into the real world, you're gonna be able to use these skills forever. Forever. Every single one of us. I know there's probably about 200 people in here that are going to be CEOs one day just because people have studied and done this competition and worked on their soft skills, worked on how to talk to people, because that's what the Amazing Shake is for, to develop us as people. So to everyone here, have a great day. And thank you all.
There we go. Great speech right there. Very heartfelt, very passionate. Gregory Wright, our 2025 Global Amazing Shake Champion. I'm so excited for that young man.
Excited.
That Lucia and Dante filmed that we can share to show people what this
let's go to the stage
experience
here
is.
and
Let's
check
take a
out
quick
this
look at
video.
this little 60-second promo from Dante and Lucia.
The Amazing Shake is a global competition that encourages students to reflect on their unique strengths and face their fears. And at this year's competition, there's no clowning around.
It's game on, and students from all across the world travel to the Bronx Clark Academy in Atlanta, Georgia, for an action-packed weekend of competition full of twists, turns, ups, and downs. Students are put through the ringer in a combination of tricky stations and challenging carousel conversations. Students must use poise, professionalism, and quick thinking in order to keep their head in the game.
A game of chess and not checkers, the Amazing Shake is a friendly yet fierce competition that brings together future leaders from Hawaii to Honduras to Germany to Texas and Tennessee to Shining Sea. From social scenarios to quick business pitches. Will the students hit their mark or will they fall flat?
This competition changes lives. It builds confidence, opens doors, and prepares us for success in the real world. From the gauntlet to the workroom challenge to parade of champions to group interviews.
Do you have what it takes?
Step up,
Stand out, and shake the world.
Video. Our past global champions hosting and narrating that video. Great job to David Spear, Mr. Sipo, and the whole team for putting that together.
Absolutely.
Just a few quick announcements. I wanted to say, number one, that the cards, we always have the most beautifully printed cards with your faces on them, the scores.
Some
it's
printer
also
issues.
really well
So I think
done.
what we'll do, there's some
Our printer
logistical
broke
things here. Our
about
printer was so
5 a.m.
exhausted from
yesterday
doing all
morning,
these cards
and
that
we were
he's just giving some
struggling to
description on
get
that.
cards
So I
printed.
think that what
It
we'll
got
do is
to a
we'll go
point
ahead
where
and
they
wrap
said
up
we're
this
gonna have to stop
broadcast.
the
But thank
gauntlet
you for
for
joining
about
us.
an
If you
hour
missed any of the
to fix
portions of
this.
this, you can go back and
The
watch them
judges
on the
were
Ron
only
Kirk
here for 4
Academy
hours.
Facebook page
We couldn't have
and
gone
see.
for
And
this
also,
hour.
if you want
It
to learn more
would've
about the
pushed the whole
Global
day
Amazing
around.
Shake, go to
Everything would've been messed up.
theamazingshake.com.
Also want to shout out our sponsors again before we wrap up this broadcast. A huge shout out to our presenting sponsor, Inspire Brands, TMPAV, Synovus, AT&T for being sponsors for the Global Amazing Shake. It takes a lot of folks to put this on, as you see there on the screen. Shout out to them for being a big part of making this happen.
And thank you to all of you in your communities who have sponsored students to be here, all of the chaperones who brought these students here, and the schools for putting on their own amazing shakes to be able to get students prepared for this.
Yeah.
We're so grateful to all of you educators out there who are really working to make sure that you bring this workforce readiness to your schools as well. And so on behalf of the entire Ron Kirk Academy, thank you for joining us. Congratulations, Gregory Wright, our Global 2025 Amazing Shake Champion.
Thanks so much, everybody. Take care.
So we're learning and we're growing together, and so we just want to thank you for your feedback, because this is still overall, it's a new competition. It's a new thing that we're trying to grow together, and I'm honored to be on the journey with you. I will say this. I think the Global Amazing Shake works better with less kids. When it's